Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Listen, we are finally in the same hemisphere. Our internet is working great. Josh is not in his fake Microsoft background anymore. Welcome back to another episode of the beautiful Apex F1 podcast. I am your host, Paul. We're going to be steering this ship today. I don't know where it's going to go, but I have great news. Meredith, let's start with you. How are you today?
Fantastic. Very happy to be on with you guys. We have so much incredible racing to debrief and catch up on, and schedules have been crazy, but super great to come back together. I'm super pumped for today's episode.
Absolutely. Josh, welcome back from paradise. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Great to be back. Well, not so great to be back, but beach is great. Sun was great. I hate to be back at work, but it is what it is. We got to work for a living. Hey, so we're in the midst. We're in the midst of the middle of motorsport season, right? This is it. This is what we're here for. This is the pinnacle of the racing season right now. We've got just back-to-back races. We just had the Triple Crown. Like, it doesn't get any better, right? So it's so much fun to watch all this great motorsport going on right now. So stoked.
Unfortunately, until this podcast pays us full time, we got to do our job, right? We got to be adults, which sucks. But hey, guys, we live in a world right now. This is not a dream. This is not a drill. This is not the Matrix. We live in a world where Lewis Hamilton has won a race. Not just won a race, because he's won a lot of them and he's got a lot of titles, but he's won a race in scarlet red. The pony is back on top, and I think we can all admit that the world is a better place when that beautiful pony is on the top step of that podium. What are we thinking? What are our thoughts? Josh, let's start with you.
Well, I think it's pretty clear now that Ferrari is going to be the front runner of this championship battle, right? Like, who is Mercedes? It's been one race and Ferrari's already on top. Like, what? Forget Mercedes. Forget who is Kimi Antonelli? Like some teenager, right? Like, we don't even know who that is
Some dumb
anymore.
teenager we don't care about. Screw that kid.
No,
He can barely even drive a car legally.
Yeah, you can't even get a license. So, no, I mean, in all seriousness, no, it's fun to think that we have the rest of the season coming up and we do potentially have a championship battle in our midst. It's such a fun topic to kind of dive into. We were kind of sitting here thinking we were just stuck in a Mercedes battle between, George and Kimi, but here we are with maybe a potential for a Ferrari interloper. So it's so much fun to think about that and to talk about that. Lewis put on just a ridiculous outing in Barcelona, just throwing out the fastest laps that he's probably ever drove in Barcelona, to be honest. So what a ridiculous race that was. So much fun. So cool for Lewis. Maybe the curse is broken. Maybe Kim Kardashian, threw a hex on him. I don't know. But whatever it is, it needs to keep happening because we need this. We need this for our season. We need this for Formula One. We need this for the vibes. So I'm stoked for Lewis. It's so much fun to watch.
Meredith, give me your thoughts, girl. I know you got something cooking up there. Tell me.
I echo every ounce of that. Like, I've just not even been able to contain my excitement since Sunday. And I saw a video on TikTok that it just made me laugh so hard. And everybody said, there's a Kardashian curse and there's a Ferrari curse. And maybe they have canceled each other out. And I am A-okay with all of that. I also saw another thing that was like, when Kim took Kimmy's towel, she transferred all of the previous Lewis Hamilton bad vibes over to Kimi. And I'm like, God, I hate that I was like so sad for Kimi in that race in those last 10 laps with what happened. And I hate it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so heartbroken. And then I just forgot every bit about it because I was so overjoyed with Lewis on the podium and Lando on the podium because I am both Ferrari and McLaren fans. So to have that podium, I was like, I hated that for Kimi, but I got Lando on the podium. Now, if I could have had one wish, I wish it would have been Lewis, Kimi, and Lando on the podium. That would have been better. The wrong Mercedes broke down. And especially after Kimi fought so hard and overtook George, I wish it would have been Kimi on the podium, not George. No hate to George, but Kimi earned it more in my mind. And I'm going to be riding the high of a Lewis Ferrari win for probably the foreseeable decade.
But did you guys see the video where Kim sent Kimi a towel? So maybe she just cleared the hex right there. And also,
I think she sent the bad juju to Kimi.
In that
Kimmy's
towel,
had no mechanical issues this season. That's been George only.
Yeah. Also, I need do-rag Lewis Hamilton for the rest of the year. I don't need raves. I need
Love
those long locks just flowing. Give me do-rag Lewis because I think that do-rag has some power behind it.
Yeah, like when he was in the cool down room and he was putting his hair up, I'm like, no, Lewis, let those locks breathe, baby. Let them fly.
Let him
Yeah,
out, son.
I love that, like, you could tell, like, he had no interest in putting that hat on, right? Like, he just was carrying around a hat for, like, the entire cool down room and the podium ceremony. It was only till the very last second that he put it on because I'm sure there's some reason that they have to. But I was like, Lewis ain't putting that hat on. Are you kidding me? There's no way.
Also, side note, the three of I'm kind of disappointed in the three of us. None of us are wearing anything Ferrari or red to this
It
podcast.
don't
That's a
matter.
little
It's the World
disappointing.
Cup. It's the
It's
World
in
Cup.
our hearts, Paul. It's
What
in
are we
our
representing
heart.
here?
It's right here. That's all that counts. But guys,
It's right here. I actually did plan on wearing my Lewis Hamilton t-shirt for this one. And then I was like, I'm tired. It's been a long work day. I ain't changing.
fair enough. But overall, what did we think of the race in Barcelona? I should have stated that at first so people know what we're talking about. But they were
Everybody knows now.
well, you also need to lay a foundation, Meredith. A good host has to lay the foundation to build on. And I screwed the pooch from the start. But what did we think about Barcelona? I thought I rewatched it just now to get ready for this again. Overall, I thought it was a pretty fun race.
Yeah, I thought it was an awesome race. I mean, I also just really love the Barcelona track. I'm not very good at driving it, I know, shocker. But I had such a good time there, so I feel like because it was one that I liked watching on TV, I felt like it was entertaining, and then going and seeing it and watching those curves, like I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." I felt like the progression throughout the race, there wasn't really ever a dull moment where I was like, "This is going to be a snoozer." So I think for me, the the action-packed racing throughout the entire race was a lot for me. I was really, really, really impressed by the pit strategies and by the pit timings even. There wasn't really anybody who had a standout terrible pit during this race, and I felt like it was a really peak performance weekend for a lot of teams. I did think it was pretty crazy what happened with Nico Hulkenberg with that rock going through his car from Liam Lawson going off in the gravel, right, Liam?
Hmm. Yep.
Yes.
That was just chaos. But I just think overall, incredible racing, incredible battles the entire time. It was not one that I wanted to get up and like walk around and do stuff. So that's always a sign of an incredible race for me.
Josh, what'd you think of the race?
Yeah, I never have very high hopes when we go into Barcelona, right? Because it's a track that most drivers have, if not the most, very close to the most like time driving. They have the most laps logged at Barcelona because it's a great test track. A lot of teams
Mhm.
use it as a test track. It's conveniently located between Italy and England and France. So a lot of teams just use that as a stomping ground, right? So it's not usually a place that lends to very good racing because the timing differences aren't going to be too much. You're not going to see a driver like drastically off pace. And we saw that throughout this weekend. But what I think made this one different was the pit strategies. These pit strategies really did change things up where we had 2 stops, 3 stops, the BSC thrown in there, changed up the timing. So that I think really helped kind of keep the race lively and keep, the question marks in the air. We really weren't sure who's going to do what. And even during the race, it seemed like, tire degradation kind of changed some pit strategies. We saw some people try to extend their stints that may have been ill advised. So, there was just several variables that, while maybe not wheel to wheel, there were some strategy decisions that were made that race a lot more exciting than necessarily it has been in the last couple of years. So, hey, that's the best race in Barcelona that I've seen in years.
Absolutely.
So I can't really say much more. That's a great race. It's added to the list of circuits that have done phenomenally better than years past with these new regulation cycles. So not much to say other than that. I think the strategy is just really drove that race more than the pace did, but really fun one to watch.
And I think that's what we love about motorsports, right? It's that chess game between figuring out what to do versus what the other team's going to do and how to try to get that upper hand. And I think maybe I might be wrong, but I think on pure pace alone, the Mercedes is a better car than the Ferrari. But Ferrari making those key strategy moves to put Lewis in that spot really gave him the win. And sometimes you just need a little bit of luck with that late BSC with Kimi to go your way. And I think everything was going in Ferrari's favor for Lewis. Charles is a different story, but overall, we I couldn't ask for a better race. It's what we've been asking for. It's that chess piece, and for the first time in a really long time, Ferrari didn't shoot themselves in the foot because we all know that Ferrari is known for these weird strategies that don't pay out in the end. Overall, it was great. The relationship between Lewis and his strategist, you hear and feel the pure joy on the radio, and I thought that was really cool.
Agreed. That like I feel like we had some really great radios this weekend. Like sassiness, like I mean George immediately. I always expect him to get sassy on the radio immediately. Pretty early on, he did. I felt like the team communication, even with Charles, was really good. The like both of them, like they were listening to Lewis when he was like, his guy came on in the last few laps and was like, "Yeah, we're doing great. Just keep." And he's like, "I got this. Let me drive." But it was not in a shut up, I've got this, let me drive. Like there was just a lot of respect and good team communication this weekend. No crazy like iconic one-liners that I caught, but I think it was just really good examples of radio and team communication.
Josh, what are your thoughts on that?
Pardon.
It's
Dogs.
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, communication was good. I mean, George, I think George being bitchy, yes, but I think he was right. Like his strategy put him directly in the line of fire with his teammate, and I think that is something that as a strategist you want to prevent. You know, especially when you have open air in front of you to play with. I just not sure they brought him in at the right time. I think they were trying to play the safe game with George, trying to preserve his position, but it is what it is. You can't predict the late safety cars and stuff, and that really is what ended up killing George's race anyway. Yeah, huge difference between Ferrari of last year and this year with the team radios, especially on Lewis's side. A lot more respect both ways, a lot more understanding both ways of what information needs to be exchanged and what doesn't need to be exchanged. So overall, I think that's a huge change for Ferrari, obviously, to go for a different engineer, but it seems to have worked out very favorably for Ferrari. And I mean, there's no reason to believe that this relationship isn't very good and will continue to be very good for the next several races, the rest of the season, the next season, however long that Lewis decides to stay in the car. So I think this is a good example of a budding relationship.
Agreed.
So let me ask this question, guys. Are the Alpines legit or are the Alpines just lucky?
Miami's the
Thoughts?
only bad weekend Pierre had. I don't think they're just lucky. Miami is the only bad weekend Pierre has had. Whatever they did, it's working, and I could not be more excited for them. I love to see it. We've seen great improvement from Franco Colapinto in his driving and his consistency. Pierre is up there. I mean, Colapinto's just been outside the points, like a lot of the races. So I'm pleasantly surprised and super thrilled to continue to watch the growth.
So, but Josh, before I get to you, Pierre finishes seventh and Colapinto in 10th. The team is at solid fifth place in 57 points. Josh, are they for real or are they just getting lucky?
No, I think this is the real deal. I think the obvious the obvious answer is they went to a customer team, right? And they're using a Ferrari powered motor that is far and away the best on the grid, I think. Even though we can get into the FIA ADU statistics and talk about Red Bull and blah, blah, but we're going to ignore that for the moment. I think Mercedes is the most consistent, reliable, and the most powerful on the grid right now. And I think that they've integrated that very well with their chassis, and they've been able to devote a lot of time and money and energy into their aerodynamic packages and to their electrical systems. And I feel like that has really benefited them. We've seen Franco Colapinto battling his teammate in qualifying, which is a huge deal for Franco as basically a second year rookie, right? To see him battle with Pierre, who's well and truly a veteran of this grid, to see them being very close to qualifying shows that they're getting the maximum potential out of this car. And I think that points to that car being extremely strong. And I think that if they have a couple more upgrade packages, they could be battling for even higher points throughout the rest of the season. I think they're the real deal. I don't think there's any reason to doubt Alpine at this point. And they're getting a ton of investor money. So just think about this not only this year, but in the next years to come. This the amount of money that they are being pumped in with is very, very likely to produce a strong team in the next couple of years. So I think if Franco can hold this on and not get booted out for some stupid ass reason, like bringing Fernando Alonso back, I think they'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, especially with Gucci coming in next year, they're going to have that influx of
Yeah,
money,
exactly.
and it's going to be. I'm really pumped to see what that team can do. And I tell you, I wasn't a big fan of Flavio when he first came in, and especially how Drive to Survive portrayed him, and he's kind of somewhat the villain. But you have to give the guy
He's
credit.
not somewhat
No,
the
you don't.
villain. He
He is the
literally
villain.
is a
And
villain.
I
He
don't,
was
yeah.
banned from Formula One because he cheated.
Okay, but we
Like,
can admit that his
at what
influence
point?
has turned the team around.
But at
I don't
one
think it's
point,
necessarily
he
his influence.
should have never been allowed back in. Like, great for what he's doing for the team, but it never should have happened. If a team cheats and you find the person in charge that allowed this to happen and you give them a lifetime ban and then you let them back in, that is a problem. Like, I don't know. Congrats to Alpine. I'm not giving credit to Flavio. I don't know. I think it's the team working really hard, but he shouldn't have been allowed back in.
But with the dysfunction of the team and with, years ago when they fired their team principal and all the things coming out, can we not give Flavio some credit for the turnaround the team as created? Or was this
No.
a machine that was gonna turn around either way?
I think because of the performances towards the end of last season, you could start to see the changes in the team structure. I think that you saw a lot of time and energy and effort going into I mean, let's think about it. They sucked last year, right? They were horrible. They had no chance for points. So they probably shut down the 2025 development and went right into 2026 really early, if not the earliest of any team on the grid. So I think that would be a really key indicator of their development for 2026 and throughout this regulation cycle. That's probably explaining why they're so strong right now. I don't think you necessarily you say Flavio Briatore is the person who brought that to fruition, right? I think he's just a huge figurehead that has a majority stake in the team who happens to be able to play team principal somehow after cheating his way through the Singapore Grand Prix, the first one ever, by the way, which, if you remember, is cheating. And he was indeed banned from the entire sport forever. And somehow he's a team principal now, which is just kind of mind blowing. Which it could have, it probably cost Felipe Massa a world championship and it gave Lewis Hamilton his first. So it wasn't just like some idle bullshit that happened. This was a move that changed up an entire year's championship and gave points to their team that was failing anyway. That's a whole nother story. Crashgate's an entire thing. But
Yeah, it's
I don't
definitely
think we
interesting.
can. I don't think we can attribute this directly to Flavio, the turnaround of Alpine. I think that this is due to the money that's being spent on the team and where they're developing the cars. Not to mention they stopped their engine development and shuffled all that money into the rest of the team. So they have plenty of money to play with.
So did what's going on with Gasly and his stuff? Sorry, brain fart. Meredith put it on the notes. The Alpine penalty reversal. What happened there?
Yeah, so the FIA reversed their decision for his penalty. So it reinstated his podium. That happened on the Friday of the Barcelona weekend. So Isaac Hadjar loses his Monaco podium. Pierre Gasly gets his podium. But now McLaren and Red Bull have both filed against the FIA, stating for a review of the reversal, stating that they don't think that that was fair. So I knew Red Bull did not show up to the FIA hearing on it, but I thought all the other teams did. So I was a little shocked to see both McLaren and Red Bull, but I guess maybe not so much McLaren since Oscar was very outspoken about it this last weekend in Barcelona. I don't know. I think it does create a bit of a murky situation if we're going to start just reversing penalties, a week later, stuff like that. Like, that's something you should have been able to review immediately after the race and make a decision immediately. The fact that we waited a week to me is a little murky on it. But if they reversed it and they agreed that it was an issue on their end and that the penalty shouldn't have been given, if they also would have reviewed everybody's that got a time penalty and said, hey, we're just going to go back and look into everybody's and confirm, hey, we did our due diligence, then I think we would have heard about that. But they didn't. They've just reversed it. So now I understand it creates some chaos down the road for like what door does that open if we can just start reviewing every FIA penalty?
Yeah, it is interesting why they just reversed one and didn't decide to look at all of it as a whole.
Well, it's not necessarily too confusing when you look at it from the totality. So Alpine was the only team that actually appealed the decision
Yeah,
itself.
they were the only one who submitted a formal appeal. Every
Yeah,
other team could have, they didn't.
they did it. So those other teams' choices not to appeal the decision is what led the FIA to only reverse
Yeah,
Pierre's. So
yeah,
it leads me to believe that, I mean, I saw a video of the Alpine mechanics and engineers and probably the strategists and probably anybody who had eyes out there with, tape measures and walking sticks and everything else. they were measuring off the distances between the pit straight and like the timing line and everything else. And so I feel like they had really good, data, not only in telemetry, but also in, their own measurements after the fact to overturn this decision. And I feel like for the FIA to overturn a podium decision, not only just a decision, but one that determined a podium finish, I feel like that has a really strong showing that they had something to, they had it right. I think Alpine had it exactly right. So I think if every team did that, they probably would have had a chance to get it overturned, but they didn't. Not every team decided to appeal it. So how can you fault Alpine? They did the right thing, to be honest.
Yep. Josh
Isn't it
brings it.
such a bummer though that Pierre missed out on podium in Monaco, which is like a super special place for them, and especially because of like how much French influence is in Monaco and like I don't know, I hate it for him, but
It's terrible.
I it is terrible. And then also thinking about like Isaac getting to have that podium and then
Taking it away
like
from him. He had the
yeah, and
experience,
then
but then
having to
nothing to
give the
show for it.
trophy back. Like that
Yeah,
would be
that's
devastating.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad that the what seemingly is the right decision like prevailed and came out. But it really does suck that, those guys didn't either had the experience and didn't earn it, or earned the experience and didn't get it. And that's it's Monaco, right? It's the one that everybody dreams of. So it sucks that it's that one. It's if that had been Austria, would we have felt as strongly as, Monaco, right?
Yeah.
That's a tough one to swallow. And I'm glad that the history books will at least have the right names, but at the same time, like on a human level, like that really sucks.
Yeah. So what else? What other thoughts do you have, Josh, on the Barcelona race?
For Barcelona
Yeah,
or Monaco? Have you
Barcelona.
uh going back to I think Ferrari's got a good upgrade package. It looks like they're really strong. It looks like Williams still sucks really bad. Um Audi is really unlucky, but has pace, and Hulkenberg's a quality merchant, which is just evident. But it shows that car does have pace. Let's be very clear here. I know he's very good in quality, but it does seem like he's able to get the potential out of that car. So it does have some quality pace. Whether they can find race pace, up in the air, but they've got good drivers, so I think they'll find it at some point. Cadillac, meh. They've got a lot of mechanical issues to work out. They got a lot of reliability problems. Aston's a train wreck.
Hey, for the first time, a Stroll qualified above
Yeah.
Alonso.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, Stroll is qualified above his teammate, so that's, really sick. I guess we've lost Meredith for a moment. That's alright. Yeah, so Lance Stroll, obviously now a contender for the World Constructor or the Drivers' Championship, obviously, so no, I mean, so I think you see a lot of shakeups in the midfield and the lower field. It's, in the back markers. It's
I
one of those things. I feel like this is basically an arms race at this point. It's going to be whoever brings the best upgrades at the right time. Yeah, it's still early. Which is crazy to say here in June, but it's still early in the season to really think about where we're going to be in November.
Yeah, yeah, but I think, it's competitive even towards the back end is starting to be competitive, and I think with new regulations and all the stuff that was coming out with it, I don't think we can ask for more. I think this is exactly what we as racing fans have been wanting and clamoring for. So overall, even if you're, Ferrari at the top or Audi or Aston Martin in the back, everything is still right relatively near each other, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I came in with pretty high expectations for this regulation cycle. We've gotten very good racing. The argument, of course, can be made that tweaks need to be made, adjustments need to be had to make it better. But all in all, it's hard to argue that this is not good racing because it is. I mean, it's wheel to wheel. We've got a very close field. We've got a lot of good battles going on. The yo-yoing that we saw at the very beginning of the season doesn't seem to be as prevalent, and neither does the super clipping. So, you know, I mean, there's an argument, but then again, it's the first year of a regulation cycle. Like, there's going to have to be adjustments made, and I think that this gives me a little bit of hope that over the next couple of years, this is going to be a pretty good cycle, and it's going to be pretty racy.
Absolutely. Getting back to the Lance Stroll thing, I decided that one of my goals in life is I want to hang out with that kid because I
Lance?
want to know, yes, I want to know what his interest is in life because every time you put a microphone in
It's not Formula One, I'll tell you that.
and it's not soccer either, because they asked him, being Canadian, he's like, "What do you think of the Canadian team?" He's like, I didn't even know that was happening." Like, what kind of bubble does this kid live in? And I just want to find out.
I mean, I get you. I think, for one, I think his interest is tennis, to be honest. He's a very good tennis player, like to the point where people have talked about maybe he leaves Formula One and tries to, like take up professional tennis. So that could be his thing.
I didn't know that he was that good at tennis.
Yeah, which is cool. Everybody's got their thing. It's wild that he's a Formula One driver that has no interest in it, but I don't know what to say about that.
When your daddy's got printing money, you just get told what to do.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, but at some point I feel like you're what, a decade into your career, and maybe you say, "Hey, Dad, I'm kind of sick and tired of this bullshit." Like, I don't know. I mean, but it's Lance's deal. Maybe he does love it. Maybe he just hates the attention. Maybe he just hates everything that comes along with being in Formula One. Maybe he just hates that stuff. So Meredith's back. We're great. We're talking about how great Lance Stroll is. So I'm sure you've got an input.
Oh
here.
my God, Paul's favorite driver.
I was just telling Josh that my goal in life, one of my many goals in life, is I want to hang out with that kid for like a week, just because I want to know what his interest is in life, because he clearly is not interested in Formula One. They just asked him about the World Cup happening in Canada, and he's like,
well, and did you see them? They asked him to speak to his home country's fans in French. He doesn't know any French.
No,
Yeah,
of course.
Cowboy doesn't know a lick of French, except,
to be honest, like
bonjour.
most Canadians don't, right? It's only really like that. I don't know what they call it. Their territory, like Montreal and the territory surrounding it.
Louisiana Purchase?
No, there's a name. Like, I think they call it.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
But he doesn't know any French. I don't know where he's from, but like he doesn't know French. I thought it was funny. This poor guy was like, that'd be like putting me on the spot in Mexico and be like, "Hey, Josh, speak to the hometown fans in Spanish." I'd be like, I wouldn't have much to give you. Like,
yeah, but the difference is you actually have a personality that's worth the fuck. He just looks lost. Every time you put a mic in his face, he looks like a deer in the headlights and doesn't know. Like, what do I do with my hands right now?
You can tell he's just not enjoying it. Like,
No.
he does not enjoy it. But I did see the video about, like, there's a compilation of every time Esteban Ocon has seen Lance be by himself and has gone over to be with him and hang out with him. And I was like, that makes me really happy, because imagine you're the Formula One driver on the grid that nobody wants to be friends with, or like nobody hangs out with or talks to or cares about. So I think it says a lot about Esteban Ocon as a person who's like not tight with him. It's like him and Lance Stroll aren't taking trips together and flying on their PJs home together, but he is willing to every race make sure that he has a person to like walk out with, hang out with on the little paddy wagon. So I don't know. I think that's really cool of Esteban Ocon. Sorry,
You're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
No, I get it. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like we forget, but these guys grew up together. They all karted together. They went through all the different series together. So it's one of those things where they have known each other for a very long time at this point, and whether or not that they get along at this best friend level where they're on each other's private jets and flying all across the world. Like, if you see one of the guys that you've known for 20 years off by themselves, like some part of you is going to be like, all right, I got to go bring my boy back in here. I don't know. Maybe they had a good relationship at one point. It's just kind of faltered. They're just people at the end of the day. I feel like I forget that sometimes. They're just people.
They're just humans too.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know. I think that's why that video warmed my heart so much with Esteban Ocon, because I know Esteban also has a bad reputation with some people on the grid. So I thought it was really cool that he was intentional with that.
Well, before we get into the all dreaded point system, because I know I did awful this weekend.
I don't think I did.
Meredith, any last final thoughts on the Barcelona and everything that happened in F1 this weekend?
No. I mean, I thought it was a really good, fun race weekend. To me, this was probably one of the more exciting races to watch, just because there were so many elements and factors that kept changing it for me. But to all the haters who say that Lewis only won because of the safety car and the pit, get fucked. He was plenty far in advance. He was winning that race no matter what.
Look at his race pace and his lap times. It didn't matter. He was inevitable.
Yeah. So to all the haters.
Also, who gives a Who gives a shit? A win is a win. I don't care how you get the win. A win is a win. Okay? Suck. Get
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah, Lando
Yeah,
didn't
I'm like,
care.
who could hate Lewis Hamilton? Who could hate on Lewis Hamilton? You know what? That says more about you as a person if you don't like Lewis Hamilton. That says more about you.
Well, a few videos have surfaced about Lewis Hamilton's comments about billionaires, and he's gotten some flack recently. But that's for another episode.
That, I think I saw that too. And then everybody was like, have some awareness, like look at who you're dating. But you can't control other people, and he surely can't control a woman that he just met that has a whole ass life and family and career. But what I do think is super admirable about Lewis Hamilton is that yes, he has a lot of wealth, but he also gives back in so many ways that so many other rich people don't. So he tries to do really good too with it, in which that other very rich people don't. So I think he gets to.
I cannot wait for the Kanye West Lewis Hamilton diss track. It's going to be
the best album.
It's going to be so sick.
Out of all the things that I thought you were going to say, that is not what I thought was going to come out of your mouth.
What do you think was coming?
I don't know. I thought he was going to come out with some sensible thought. And here he is coming out with some fucking
Nah,
Kanye.
dude. Look, I miss the old Kanye. I hope it's like a graduation-esque, just absolute banger. I miss old Kanye.
Oh.
R.I.P. to the old Kanye. But guys, Meredith, give us what's going on with this whole point system, because it was bad.
Well, we need to debrief Monaco, I think, because the points go, Monaco, we've got to do points recap from Monaco before we can ever talk about Barcelona too. So I feel like we'll do that in one fell swoop.
Okay, fair enough. Take it away, girl.
Monaco, what'd y'all think? Paul, I know it's the race you look forward to the least. I've stopped saying you hate this race because I don't think you do.
Bless you.
Bless you. It's the race you're least excited for. But I know I have my thoughts on Monaco. But Paul, I think you should have to share your Monaco thoughts first.
It was a race. I think it gave us a little spice. I don't know. It's 2 weeks. It was.
Did we watch different races?
What Monaco did you watch?
Guys, I was in the middle of moving across the country. I don't remember much of what happened, so bear with me, damn it.
My God. I was about to say, we watched different Monaco races.
That was the craziest... Forget Monaco. That was the craziest Formula One race I've watched probably ever.
Absolutely.
Well, then clearly I did not do my research, and I should have watched that race before I jumped on this. I forgot we didn't do an episode, and I forgot, damn it. So I'm the host. You can't be putting me on the spot. Damn it, I'm the host. I'm running this shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Josh, what did you think of Monaco?
I had to think about it for a very long time because there was so much to think about. It took me quite a while to read through different things and digest kind of what I saw. And it kept changing even after I watched the race. It kept changing. The standings changed, and all these rules changes coming, penalty changes. It was a lot to wrap your head around. It was not your typical wheel to wheel battle. Sure, some Monaco haters are still going to complain, whatever. But I mean, you had the track breaking apart. You had people wrecking into walls. You had Charles Leclerc whining about his brakes being terrible. It had everything. What else did you want?
Nothing.
Meredith?
The only thing more that I could want was for Charles Leclerc to not crash in the race. That's the only thing more I could want out of that race. But I agree. It changed every single lap. I mean, I felt like every single lap was a brand new race. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I think it was just unbelievable. I had hopes because I watch the Formula E race in Monaco every year. So I told you guys, I was really, really excited to see how the new regulation car does, just being smaller and a little zippier, a little bit more room on track to, potentially make some moves that you might not have made before. And it was not disappointing for me. I loved it. I thought it was a lot better. I think even thinking about next year's Monaco race, I get excited thinking about this was year one in the regulation doing this track. So imagine what can come year two. Now, I was pretty fucking sick of the time penalties. It was like that Oprah, you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. And it was
everybody got penalties.
Everybody got penalties.
It was broken.
Everybody got penalties. And I was like, no, let's just stop with this. If 8 drivers on the grid are getting a time penalty for this,
after being explicitly warned to go
Yeah.
super duper slow. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Like something's in the water. But I don't know. I thought it was really great. To see Kimmy, goodness biscuit, let's not. To see Kimmy win there was super exciting because he was already on such a heater. So for him to continue that streak in Monaco, I was really, really excited by. I honestly almost feel like I was more excited for Lewis to get second than I was for Kimmy to win because I just felt like everything with Lewis has been building, the momentum has been there. So I was more pumped to see Lewis in second. And then, like, no, he's like that much closer to that top step. For Pierre to have the podium now, I was really happy to celebrate for Isaac in that moment. I was like, that was so cool for Isaac. So I do hate that for him. But everything with Charles Leclerc just ruined it for me at the end. Like that was just that was my one bugaboo about the race. Everything else about the race I was quite thrilled with, quite pleased with. One thing that I thought was pretty interesting to watch navigate was the V carbs. The V carbs were zippy and spicy. I think they had a really strong weekend all weekend, but to see how well they did, I was absolutely tickled, tickled with a max DNF. I mean, nothing brings
Off
me
the front
greater
row.
joy. Yeah, it's like literally it almost needed to be a DNS because it was so, and then all like seeing the track and then just seeing like everybody else is up here, and then it's like Verstappen. Doo, 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 doo. So I did thoroughly enjoy that with Max. That was mayhem. But I also love his little Kimi Räikkönen move of like, no, I'm not staying. I'm going back to my boat.
Yeah,
And then he
absolutely.
goes and gets back on his boat and is driving the sim. Iconic.
The most Max move ever. Just gets on a boat and drives a simulator.
Yeah. Definitely not, Kimi Räikkönen because he was in a hot tub with models.
Yeah.
Not quite
Way
the same
cooler.
guy.
Way cooler.
Way cooler.
But yeah, super happy for Isaac. I think he may have broken that second seat curse because he's doing really well in that Red Bull car.
Well, I think the whole second seat curse is bleh, whatever. I think honestly, this is just to show that like, hey, maybe everybody else was right and the car totally sucked, and Max just is
Yeah.
a wizard.
Yeah. And I think maybe also it's like it's helpful. Like try being the second seat driver that they've had for the last several years. You're a super seasoned veteran. You have a pretty big ego, You want to blame the car, right? Like you want to blame the car, but everybody else is like, "No, it's you. You're the driver. You're the problem. It's not the car. Look at Max." Maybe now it's a little bit different hearing it from Isaac, who has, been in the Red Bull Driver Academy. He had a really strong season with V-Carb last year. He's having a good year this year, but he does seem to, I don't like, maybe it's like the relationship with Laurent Mekies and him, of like him actually probably being able to be in a safe space to give feedback without the finger being pointed at him and not having the pressure of Helmut Marko breathing down your neck, like, getting ready to fire you. I would imagine it's a combination of all those things. He's progressing really well. I've been very impressed by him, but I think that maybe the team is a little more open at this point to looking at addressing it from a comprehensive space, including the car was a shitbox.
I think too, there's something to be said that there's not another driver immediately breathing down his neck that could be like in his position, right? Like Lawson is just he's a V-carb boy, right? He's going to be in V-carb until he ends up somewhere else or
Yeah,
gone off the
he's
grid.
the new Yuki Tsunoda.
And Lindblad is just he's got a lot of promise, but he's just not quite there yet. So I feel like Hajar has a little bit of space to learn and grow and be himself right now, which most of these other guys haven't or didn't have throughout their tenure, because it was almost like the next man up mentality. It was like, well, if you can't perform in a couple of races, we'll just get the next guy because he probably
Yeah,
will.
because it's like, look how deep my roster is.
Yeah.
They've run through they ran a train through their roster,
Yeah.
and now they're like,
Whoa, we're stuck. We have these three guys, one of which we tried didn't work. We've got a guy in reserve who tried didn't work. We've got this kid Hajar who's actually gotten some performance. All right, well, let's keep him in here because we have no one else for a couple of years. So that I think it probably takes a lot of pressure off his shoulders. Like it's a little bit of room to learn the car. It's a new regulation. Everybody's starting from the same playing field. It's probably the best, to be honest, for Hajar. Like I think we sat here last year and we were kind of we were a little worried about Isaac coming into that seat, right, and how long that might last and how that may affect his career. But I think the timing might have worked out extremely well for him.
And I think you bring a good point. It speaks volumes to the fact that he doesn't have somebody breathing down his neck and he can just relax and focus on his job. Because let's face it, Yuki's not much of a threat there to take his seat back.
I mean, I'd love Yuki to get back in the grid, and I don't think it's at Red Bull. I saw he did 2 full race distances in the car over the last week, so he's still getting plenty of seat time. So he's still an outlier to get a spot back on the grid. So we'll just have to see. I like Yuki. I think he is quality. I just think that he got kind of shafted by the Red Bull fucking machine. Just I think kind of shoot him up and spin him out, to be honest.
I also do think it's helping Isaac's case that there's not a massive gap in performance between him and Max this season. Like, Max has had a rough season. The car has been a challenge. So I think that also helps alleviate some of that pressure when it's not like Max is killing it and then Isaac is down here. So I think that's also helping the case.
All right, Meredith, give us the juicy numbers we're all dreading to hear.
Okay, let's talk those juicy numbers. Okay, prior to Monaco, we were at 8, 1, and 1. Josh 8, Paul and Meredith 1 point. And unfortunately, with the Monaco podium, Josh had predicted Charles, Lewis, George, and a McLaren above Kimi. So Josh, you got a deduction for Charles DNF. Okay. And then Paul, you predicted Lewis, Max, Oscar, and then Alpine double points and a Williams in the points. You got nada. Hey, can we not zoom during points recap, Rogs? Biscuit has thoughts on that. And then I predicted Charles, Lando, Lewis, and Haas points. So I got a fun little deduction, a negative from Charles, a negative from Lando, but I cancel one of those out with a Haas. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that brings us to
7, 2, and 1.
Josh with 9 points. No, wait, hold on.
That's
so
wrong.
Josh,
That's the wrong
no,
way.
okay, no, Monaco, we did a -1. Yeah. No, you got Lewis right though. Just kidding. So yours, you zero out because you had Lewis. So
Okay, so
you're good there. You negate.
Cool.
Paul, you actually get -1 because you had predicted Max.
0.
So you are to 0.
Wah, wah.
And I
Yeah,
also have
wah, wah.
-1 because I had Charles and Lando both DNF, but I did pick up my Haas point. So that brought us to 8-0-0. Okay. But Barcelona predictions, Josh predicted Kimi, George, Lewis, McLaren double points, and one of them in the top 5. Paul, you predicted Lewis, Kimi, Charles, Williams, and Alpine points. I predicted Kimi, Lando, George, Gasly. So Josh, you got a negative for Kimi for a DNF, but you got George, so those cancel out, and you pick up a point for your shocker. Paul, you got a point for Lewis. You lost a point for Kimi. You lost a point for Charles, so you are -1. And then I zeroed out. So I had Kimi, so I get a DNF for that, but then I picked up Gasly points. So it is now at Josh 9, Paul -1, Meredith 1.
Damn. And on that somber moment, let's end the episode. I'm kidding, guys. This sucks.
No, now we gotta talk about Le Mans.
Yes. Okay. Are we done with F1? Can we move on?
Yeah, I need a break for a minute after those points. Yeah,
Josh.
unless there's any other F1 news that you guys have heard that I haven't.
No, the only thing that they came out with was they're going to change the power to electric ratio in the next couple years and not go 50-50. I don't know. It was too much for me to understand. I went to public school.
Yeah, and Charles Leclerc resigned. Oh, wow. Everybody's shocked. Wow, we had no idea.
And according to Josh, that's why he sucks, because he re-signed a long-term contract.
I love me some Charles, and I do love him at Ferrari. I hope they get it figured out. Back-to-back DNFs from my boy Charles is a little heartbreaking for me. So I'm really hoping we come back strong in Austria, which I actually do think the Ferrari could be really quick in Austria.
One can hope.
We
still got to give our Austrian predictions because that is in 2 weeks, but we'll do that here in a minute. Josh, what do you think about Le Mans?
Dog.
Yeah, we can do that next week.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll do it next week. Gosh, we're producing on the fly. Josh, you tell me about goddamn Le Mans.
All right, Ferrari's terrible. Terrible. They sucked it up so hard.
Ferrari shot, end of story, podcast over.
Also, Cadillac sucks. They had a chance to be in the lead and win the whole thing. They literally were in the lead and had to retire the car from the lead. That sucks. That sucks real hard. Wayne Taylor Racing, hate that. It sucks. But it is fun to see. It is fun to see an American team and franchise in the very, very top of Le Mans. That's super cool. That means like it's only their and they've only done this like the last couple of years, so it's really something that they are dabbling in. I think it's their second year racing in Le Mans, so it's super neat. Also, completely separate from the racing itself, we did find out that starting next year, the regulations between IMSA and WEC are going to be identical.
Well, that's amazing.
So it's super cool because that opens up more manufacturers to doing both series, which is super cool for American franchise or for American manufacturers that want to dabble, and really cool for WEC teams that are either American based or want to dabble in IMSA for the extra, you know, seat time. So really neat, and I think that's really good for endurance racing since those seem to be the two larger series right now that people are following. I mean, I know Elms is up there, and Asian Le Mans got kind of picked up more so as a feeder series that kind of got announced that there's going to be more of like a stair step up to the top, kind of like a F3, F2, F1 kind of situation. So there, all this to be said, endurance racing seems to be becoming a little bit more structured and becoming a little bit more equal across the board, which is going to be awesome for more racing and more teams that can be involved, and it's just really good for the sport. Le Mans was fun. Unfortunately, it looked just kind of sad as far as some manufacturers just really were behind the game. Like Genesis looked okay, but it's their first year. Peugeot is just terrible, which sucks because I like
It
their
doesn't.
cars. They look really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cars are
And
really
they look
even the Alpine, like that Alpine and
the
that roof
Alpine looks
line.
sick. The Alpine looks sick. And I know Alpine is not racing officially as a manufacturer next year, but there is rumors that some privateers are going to pick up those cars, buy them out, and then race them in the WEC series next year. So perfect.
That'd
That's
be
fine.
really cool.
It's kind of like how we've seen Porsche kind of go down, especially in IMSA. There's a lot more. There's one now, but going to be more privateer Porsche drivers and teams. So that's good for the hypercar series since there is seeming to be a lack of teams that want to pick it up. McLaren is going to be one of the few. And there's a private French team that I don't know the manufacturer, but random French manufacturer that's picking up a hypercar starting next year. So
Cool.
yeah, so it's like it's good for the grid. Like there's plenty of teams,
Yeah.
plenty of manufacturers, plenty more seats for good drivers to
Yeah.
pick up. So that's fantastic. The GT racing was fun as always. Honestly, it really wasn't that eventful of a race as far as wheel to wheel battles.
Yeah,
Really
it
was
didn't
more.
it was definitely not as eventful as last
No,
year's.
then no, definitely not. It seemed like there was pretty clear category winners. The Toyotas were phenomenal and had been from the start. Like their pace was just great. The only ones that looked like they had a chance were the Cadillacs, and unfortunately, the Cadillacs just really seemed to lose that war of attrition and to lose the war of Le Mans that keeping a car running for 24 hours is. So
Insane.
Toyota looked great, right? And that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
everybody go buy yourself a Toyota. They appear to be sturdy.
They appear to be extremely sturdy, which was cool because it's the first year that Toyota's kind of operated under their own racing brand again instead of Toyota Gazoo. So it's a completely separate brand now, and they brought an Evo package, so that's a completely different car than we saw last year with the Toyota team. So pretty neat stuff going on. It's
And
cool to
super cool
see,
for Kobayashi to get his second Le Mans win. Like
right?
that's insane. And Nick DeVries first. Like that was so awesome. Mike Conway. Like whenever he was on his final laps and Mike and Nick were together in the garage and they're both just tears welling in their eyes, I was like, oh, the empath in me cannot handle this. And then all I had to think of me seeing Nick DeVries and going, howdy, and walking off. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, never mind. My secondhand embarrassment of myself just canceled out on my sadness and happiness all in one.
Now,
I
wasn't
think
Ford was in this one too, right?
In the GT3
in the
category.
GT3 class.
They are another manufacturer, which remember all this is happening, that is going to be producing a hypercar over the
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did know that.
next couple of years. So they are now
That
with
merch is gonna be sick. What Ford
yeah,
Racing has been doing from a merch standpoint needs to be studied because I think they have missed such an opportunity. I mean, like Cadillac has missed such an opportunity that Ford Racing is already killing it and capitalizing on. Like we thought Cadillac Racing, especially with like their ties with Tommy Hilfiger as a sponsor, like I was expecting some dope ass merch, you know? And I know we've already talked about the Cadillac merch, but Ford Racing, they are building a brand, and it is, I mean, they've had a brand, but like I'm talking about like a fanship with their merch and apparel. Like everything is just clean, good merch.
Yeah, and I feel
Big
like
fan.
with Ford as a brand is going to be in a unique opportunity, like in a unique position to bring like a larger American fan base to endurance racing. Just because I feel like they're going to really bang on like the American, look, this is an American team and endurance racing. You know, they're going to harp on like, I mean, everybody's seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari, right? They're going to talk about the '60s and the success of those cars back in the Shelby days. So I feel like it's a really good opportunity for Ford to say, like, not only are we in Formula One building motors, here we are in WEC building these ridiculous cars that last forever. You know, you've got a Mister. What is a
I have something
kilometer?
to show you. Keep
Logan.
talking. I have
Logan's.
something to show you related to this.
You got Logan Sargent, Mister. Who is what is a kilometer? You're going to be racing in the hypercar, I'm sure. So it's going to be cool. I mean, I'm not. I'm excited to see, especially because I think Ford would be one of those that would probably do both IMSA and WEC simultaneously. So that would be really neat to see a team take that on.
Especially with how much they're dipping their toes in motorsports. You saw,
Yeah.
Ford with Red Bull and F1. So I think that brand is really starting to put their fingerprint more on motorsports again because they were such a big one. So it's really cool for that. Meredith, drum roll.
What you got? Nice.
Not
That's pretty
one,
cool.
not two, but three.
Yeah, those are pretty dope.
Badass
So
Prince.
everything besides this wall in my office is motorsport themed. All my shelves are motorsport themed. Everything on my floating shelves over here are motorsport themed. And as much as I love this and think this is cute, it is not the vibe of my office. Like this is like if I was having like a little girly pod where I drink and gossip. So I found these at Goodwill and they are in absolute perfect condition with the matting. So now I'm going to go get these bad boys framed up and redo my office.
Nice.
Pretty cool. I like it. I like it.
So I guess we're all in on Ford now.
You know, am I supposed to be? Like,
I
is
don't know.
this a
I'm kind of a
sign?
Toyota guy. I'm kind of a Toyota guy.
Well, they are
I got to
reliable.
Toyotas are very reliable. Get you a Toyota. Go to your local dealership today. Toyota, feel free to sponsor us.
I want a 67 Shelby Mustang. It may not
We're
be
gonna end.
reliable, but I want that bitch.
I'd settle for a
That or a
Tacoma, thanks.
1978 Mercedes convertible. I'll take either.
I'll be outside with the Toyota Prius.
I'm from Texas. I ain't driving a Prius.
Fair enough. I live in Colorado now. I got to drive an electric car.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I
Well,
mean, overall I thought Le Mans was great. I loved seeing them on the podium. I loved them winning. That celebration was really fun. And I was just on LinkedIn before we hopped on. I sound like such an old ass. I was just on LinkedIn before I hopped on,
did you
and I
also
did
log
see
on? Did you also log on to your
Toyota
MySpace there,
posted their
Grandma?
Toyota posted their celebration on LinkedIn, which was really cool, and I followed them, and it was fun to see them celebrating at the factory. It was a great race. It just wasn't as exciting as last year. Last year was like action packed for so much of the race. So, yeah, another good year in the books. Eventually, I will go. It's on my bucket list, but I think we need to do 24 hours of Daytona before I can commit to 24 hours of Le Mans in another country.
Agreed.
Done. All right, guys. Well, there was no IndyCar this week. IndyCar last week. There's no IndyCar this week. They are in the great state of Wisconsin.
Road America,
Oh,
baby.
in Wisconsin. NASCAR was in the Triangle
Pocono.
of Poconos, and Denny Hamlin wins again. That dude is on a tear. I don't want to jinx it because Denny can, we all know what happened last year, but Denny is on an absolute tear. He is
He
three for
is.
three, 3 poles and 3 victories back to back to back. He is on a
And
tear.
he's given Tyler Reddick a run for his money. Like,
Absolutely.
everybody thought Tyler Reddick was going to run away with this season. And now it's super, super close in the point standing. So it's coming down to a really fun part of the NASCAR season where there's still so much racing left to go, but we've already been through so much. So
Right now, if you're a NASCAR guy and your bum is sitting in a Toyota, you are feeling great because the Toyotas have something figured out. If you are in a Chevy right now and you are under the name of Hendricks, you are sweating bullets because you really can't seem to figure out what's going on. But if
Kyle
you're,
Larson can beat any F1 driver, Paul.
He's the best driver in the world.
he just
Yeah.
got an Amazon Prime documentary, guys.
I would love to see Kyle Larson and Liam Lawson go head to head in an ego battle and a racing battle. Honestly, I just think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, because Liam would probably dust him, and he's like nowhere near the best of the.
Exactly. And now that I know that Liam's actually like a nice guy, I'm like, that makes it even better because he has this kind of like, douchey Kiwi persona, but he's actually like a really cool dude. So yeah, smoke Larson's ass. We got
Absolutely.
San Diego this weekend for NASCAR, Paul.
Yes, San Diego. They are in Coronado, California at the Naval Base. It is a street circuit. So it is currently Wednesday, June 17th, and FVG has already won the race on Sunday. So we're super proud of
That'd be
FVG.
iconic.
Congratulations. He's already won because he seems to do amazing at
Congrats,
road
SVG.
courses. Denny finished probably anywhere between 10 and 15. So congrats to FVG and that team. Super proud of him.
Did you see the hospitality setup they have inside the hangar?
No, I saw a video on TikTok earlier. They did the drive-through of the course.
Their hospitality is in the fighter jet hangars. They have these like pit sectionals just all in the hangar. It is so dope. I'm like, that is amazing. And I can't wait to see the movie that they made with the Navy about like,
Yes, I saw the
yeah,
poster. They looked pretty cool.
yeah, I can't wait to watch that. That'll be good. But
Nice.
yeah, I think
And
it's just a good weekend of racing. Road
and as we
America
wrap it
and
up,
San Diego.
and as we wrap it up for the day, Josh has a T-shirt on. Guys, I know it's a motorsport podcast, but one of the best sporting events in the whole world is happening on right now in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. The World Cup. Josh, show that T-shirt a little bit.
Yeah. If you're in the United States and you're not representing what the United States national team is doing right now, you're lost. I travel quite a bit around the East Coast to watch any and all of the men's national team games, and right now our form is off the chain. This is the best I've ever seen them play. I do think that the United States has got a really good chance at being really good throughout this tournament. So if
Listen,
you have ever
kicked
wanted to
some
watch a
ass.
game, no, they kicked a major ass, and I feel like they're going to continue to do that. So if there was ever a time to dabble in watching a little bit of soccer, now's the time. Get on board. Hype up the national team. It's not very often in our lifetimes is a home. Is the United States going to host a World Cup and our team actually have a chance at doing something good? So let's embrace it. Let's enjoy it. Hype up the national team. Watch some soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in all.
Text me some tips because I know not a single thing about soccer. So I don't even like know where to begin. But like we're hosting some matches here in Houston, obviously.
But yeah,
And the videos of people going to like Buc-ee's and experiencing Buc-ee's and HEB, I love it so much. I
I
am
was
living for the World Cup content just for like people coming to experience what it's like to be in the US, and I am loving it. And it makes me it's like I've actually found places from these TikTok videos that are like, "Oh, the Houston viral whatever." And I'm like, "I've never even heard of this place." So now when the crowd leaves, like I get this whole new source of all these incredible places in Houston I've never even heard about that I get to go try.
was just
nice.
going to talk about that. The TikTok videos and the content that's come out of these foreign fans coming to the US and experiencing American culture. And, I've seen videos of Europeans going to Waffle House for the first time and eating that and all our desserts. But the funny part is some of the comments are like, if they're blown away by this, wait till you see what we do at the 4th of July. Because the World Cup's going to go into the
My God.
second week in July. So most of them are going to be here for the 4th of July. And they're like, just wait till you see what America does for that. That
Oh,
has
I
been
love it.
awesome. All in all, they've been all really great matches. I've tried to consume as much as I can. Some really great matches. The fandom has been amazing. These countries have come out in droves in all three of these countries. It's been amazing. Not a lot of drama either. There hasn't been any fighting or arguing. It's true what they say that soccer really does unite the world, or football, wherever you are in this world. And I can't be more excited. I'm watching Ghana and Panama are playing right now, and I never thought I'd even want to watch that, but it's been so much fun. And like Josh was saying, the US team has been amazing. They came out with a swagger that I have not seen a US team play with in quite some
Oh, yeah.
time. And it's been so great for them. If you want to watch it, they're playing on Friday, June 19th at 1 o'clock versus Australia, if I'm not mistaken.
Text me, I have the day off.
Yeah,
I'll
so
watch it.
Friday, June 19th at 1 o'clock, I believe. I think that's my time in Colorado. I don't know
Yeah,
what that's.
so it'll be
Blow our time.
two central.
Yeah, so guys,
Uh,
tune in for that. I'm
It is
really
time, but a
excited to,
construct.
yeah, really pumped to see what this US team can do. They're young, they're hungry, and they might I don't want to jinx it, but the US team might make a
Don't jinx
push
it.
deep into the knockout round.
Yeah. A win on Friday would secure or pretty much secure a trip to the knockouts. So I mean that'd be a huge deal. Unexpected. Australia actually might be kind of good this time around. They beat Turkey, which was a huge surprise. So
Baby,
we'll
what?
see. Turkey.
Turkey.
It's their official name. The country of Turkey with the capital of Istanbul.
Turkey.
That's how they pronounce it.
Also,
That's
I've literally never heard this in my life.
I had neither, but over the last couple of years, that's like been the big push with like the commentating is like they are going to pronounce the countries by their preferred pronunciation.
I'm here for that. I love that.
So
like
it
should be
Qatar, like
pronounced.
Qatar.
I just didn't know this. I learned something new every episode, Josh.
Also, Josh, did you see that Boston ran out of beer? The Scottish fans drank Boston dry.
And they've been having a great old time.
They're even going to baseball games. I saw they were at the Red Sox game and they are just having the time of their life. The Norwegian fans and the rowing, the whole fan section just like rows like a Viking ship in like cadence. It is amazing. Meredith, you should TikTok watch it. And they did it they're doing it on escalators, they're doing it on everything. It is so much fun. These fans are taking over the US.
Dallas where all the Dutch people are, because the Dutch people are so much fun. And I was watching all the videos of the Dutch bus driving all across Texas and then like landing in Dallas. And I was like, no, I'm so jealous. If it was the Dutch bus coming to Houston, if the Dutch were here, I would be over the freaking moon because I love the Dutch. So I'm so jealous of the people going to Austria this year.
Yes. Guys, on that note, there is no F1 this weekend. They're here, or next weekend they'll be in Austria. But
so watch some soccer.
Watch some damn soccer, damn it.
Watch some soccer, right, Jelly? Jelly wanted to come say hi.
Hi,
what's
friend.
up, puppy? On that note, guys, please like, share, rate, review. Give us all the likes. Tell us what you like, dislike, comment on our stuff. It's been a fun episode. It was fun. It was, we had some technical difficulties, but we rode with it. Josh,
I blame it on Paula. She was in here zooming around. I think she was zooming so hard she was shaking my internet. I don't know.
It happens. It happens. Guys, Josh, any last final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, it's been a fun one. We've got plenty to talk about. I was glad to talk with you guys about what we had the last couple of weeks. So nice break to watch some soccer. I'll be in Atlanta for a World Cup match this next coming week. And so I got 2 to be at this next couple weeks. So yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm in soccer mode right now. I'll be back in motorsport mode, just in time for Austria. So
absolutely. Meredith, final thoughts?
No, I was so ready to debrief this, and it was just such a fun episode, just catching up on all things racing. And yeah, now I'm excited for you guys to give me tips about soccer, because I'm like, World Cup, why? Just because I don't know anything about it. So now I'm excited for some tips and some races to watch. Races, matches, sports. Go sports!
Sports.
Yeah, yay both teams.
Yay running!
On that note, guys, please take care. Have a great week. We will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.